Okay. So if you are going with the on-prem deployment, where you want the deployment in your data center, it can take more than 1 month or 2 months, because if you go with the hardware, so you have to buy a hardware from server, then into the bidding process, everything, right? Blah blah things happens, right? Then you will get the hardware, then you will reach out to Cisco. So almost let's consider minimum to minimum 1.5 months or 2 months. But Cisco is giving solution in, actually it's a 10 to 15 days. The range is 10 to 15 days. Within a 10 to 15 days, you will get access of your these devices. So for that purpose, Cisco will provide the access of, okay, again we are into the era where things are getting done automatically, right? So Cisco is saying, if you need solution, if you need the solution, come through the CCW, Cisco Commons Workshop, wherein you will enter the your customer name, means organization name, not the customer name. This is given by whom? Cisco. Then public IP, which public IP? IP address for whitelist. Then number of the SD WAN router requirement. With this help of this, right, Cisco will provide the public IP address to manage your, sorry, to access of your vManage. Once you have the access of your vManage, you will have the access of the vSmart and vControl, vSmart and vBond. So this is the vManage, wherein you will have the your vManage, vSmart and vBond. This is the centralized dashboard where you have the vManage, vSmart and Bond. Once you have access, your infrastructure is ready. Now you can go for the migration. So migration purpose, you already have the sets of the hardware requirement that you have given to the Cisco. So Cisco will deliver the hardware to your branch location. You will say, on this hardware I need, on this branch location I need the Viptela box, or on this branch office I need the what is that, uh, Cisco box, right? Apart from that, Cisco also provides one more important thing, certificate. DG certificate, that is authenticated by Symantec. Why Symantec? Cisco is bigger company than Symantec. Then why Symantec? Actually, here is, initially the Viptela, sorry, Cisco SD1 was with the Viptela. That is why Cisco is still having the Symantec. Nowadays, Cisco having their own certificate way. You can use the Cisco. You can use the Cisco one to generate the certificate. Certificate is the key exchanging mechanism to have a secure communication with controller, in between the controller and the VHS. So actually, initially it was the Viptela company. So they had the root server, root CA. What is this term? I will discuss. No worries about that. What is the root CA? What is this? What is this certificate? Right. So root CA was Symantec. So over the Cisco, like when the company was acquired by Cisco, they still have the Symantec, and they came up with the new Cisco. So you can either you can go for the Cisco for certification, or you can take the, default one, Symantec. Anything till now?
No, clear.
Okay.
Yeah, one thing you were saying that public IP we have to whitelist. That is the 𝐍𝐵ond IP, right?
No, that is the IP address given by customer to Cisco.
That vManage portal you mean to say?
Yeah. So this is the
Okay.
Cisco cloud. If you have inside
Means
Cisco cloud, if you want to access, so over the outside, Cisco has to allow your public IP. This is what the whitelisting, right? So if you are coming with the
okay.
public IP, something public IP, so that IP address must be allowed at the Cisco perimeter. Then only you will get the
Okay.
access.
Cisco. We have to go to Cisco.
Right. So okay. Now let's come to the next one. Bring up process. Bring up process. So till now, what we have discussed about the component, and we also seen that deployment, on-prem deployment and cloud-based deployment. So when we have this deployment method, so we have to install our controller. And if you want to install our controller, so first of all we need to make the controller up, right? So that is the bring up process for controller. So first of all, vManage, vSmart, vBond. So initially it would be off, then on. Like initially, or like when we run these devices over the hardware, so first it would be off, right? So off, then on, off, on. So we need to run this controller vManage, vSmart, and vBond. Then there is one more component, vEdge. So vEdge, that will come later. So let's not consider those things first. Okay. So we'll turn on the vManage, we'll turn on the vSmart, and then we'll turn on the vBond. So vBond is the orchestrator that we use to authenticate all the devices. So when a vManage comes into the picture, or when it comes online, first of all, it will try to authenticate with the vBond. Then vSmart is also come into the picture. Again, the vSmart will authenticate with the vBond. Sorry. Authentication. At the same time, authentication will go into the reverse direction as well. vBond will also authenticate that I am talking to right vManage, or I am talking to right vSmart. Communication is not one way. Communication would be bidirectional. Wherein vManage will authenticate to the vBond, and 𝐕Bond will also authenticate with the, like, also validate or authenticate whether I am talking to right vSmart with the right controller. Very simple example, if I am saying a customer ABC, right? This is the Cisco cloud, and Cisco is giving a public IP. If this going to the Cisco cloud, at the initial phase, we also mentioned that we need to give the organization name. If you don't provide the organization name, then how does Cisco cloud come to know that this box, this 𝐕 belongs to which organization? So authentication will happen from both sides. It's not the single way authentication. It would be from both sides, where controller vManage and vSmart will authenticate with 𝐕Bond, and 𝐕Bond will also authenticate with the 𝐕Bond will also authenticate with vManage and vSmart. So after the successful authentication, your infrastructure will be ready. You will get the access. How does authentication is happening? We'll discuss in the next class. No worries about that. We'll give the more clarity about that. Once it is ready, then you will have your 𝐕, which is sitting at the branch location. Then you will, from off, it would come into the on state. When it comes into the on state, 𝐕 doesn't know what needs to be done or what I have to do. If you bring up a device, how does device come to know what I need to do? We need to tell router, which router? This router, to use the public IP. Which public IP? We want public IP address. Who is providing this public IP address? Public IP address? Cisco. That is why at the starting I told you, 𝐕Bond is the single component in the entire fabric where we need the public IP. My 𝐕 is sitting somewhere in Mumbai, India. Controller is sitting somewhere in the UK. How does the 𝐕, which in India, can communicate with the controller sitting in the UK over the public IP? If we want public IP, if we want is the private IP, I am having the public IP, so private to public communication will not happen. That is why there is a mandatory requirement that 𝐕Bond must have public IP, and that public IP must be configured on 𝐕 for initial authentication purpose. That is why it is called authenticator. That is why 𝐕Bond is also called as an authenticator, because when a 𝐕 comes up into the picture, when a 𝐕 comes up into the picture, first of all, traffic will land to 𝐕Bond. Traffic will not go anywhere. It will land to 𝐕Bond over the public IP, and this public IP is given by Cisco. If you are going with the AWS solution, if you are reaching out to Cisco to give the SD-WAN solution, right? Once the 𝐕 comes here, when the 𝐕 comes over the 𝐕Bond, and these three already authenticated with each other, so the information will be shared between vSmart, vManage. Then at the end, it will come to the vManage, and the in between the vManage and 𝐕, you will have a secure tunnel, DTLS and TLS. DTLS and TLS tunnel. So